Nico Iamaleava was the number one overall recruit in 2023. Re-ranking the Tennessee class of 2023, he is not number one. How far does he fall? We look at that class here on a Thursday, Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, good Thursday morning, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Vols. I am your host, Eric Cain. Appreciate you guys for being here, making Locked On Vols your first listen, your first watch each and every single day. Every dayers could not do the show without you. I am the host of this show Monday through Friday, weekday mornings when you wake up. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. I'm part of the VolQuest.com team covering Tennessee athletics here in town, and we are a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you in part by our friends over at FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins over at FanDuel Sportsbook. Been teasing it for about a week now. We did the class of 2022 early last week. Today, we are going to re-rank the class of 2023 for Tennessee football. What position group stood out? How many starters came from this group? How many contributors came from this group? Biggest risers and biggest losers from where they were ranked specifically when they signed with Tennessee in the Tennessee signing class, and where I am re-ranking them. So some good stuff coming up here right now on a Thursday Locked On Vols. So if you just give it a quick glance over at the On3 industry rankings for the class of 2023 for Tennessee football, obviously the headliner is Nico Iamaleava. Nico was the number one overall prospect in the class of 2023, the entire cycle, not just for Tennessee. This is according to On3 Sports. He was number 2 overall in the entire cycle for 247, number 23 for ESPN, and number 2 for Rivals. So pretty much any outlet that actually focuses on recruiting had Nico Iamaleava as a 2 at worst in the class of 2023. Obviously, the biggest recruiting per rankings win for Josh Heupel, and really the biggest recruiting rankings win for Tennessee in this regard happened in the class of 2023. So that was Nico Iamaleava. We're going to look at this entire class here, where they were ranked, before I get into my actual rankings here in segment number 2 and 3. So Nico leads things off, number 1, coming in at with a 5-star. David Hobbs, defensive lineman, is the second highest ranked commit for signee for Tennessee in this class. 4-star defensive tackle. Nathan Laycock, that's going to be one of those that drops way down the rankings. Wide receiver was the 3rd highest ranked commit. Caleb Herring was number 4. Arian Carter was number 5. This is the industry rankings. Remember, it's a weighted average based on where Rivals is, 247 is, ESPN, and of course On3. Not specifically the On3 rankings or specifically the 247 rankings. This is the On3 industry rankings. So Arian Carter comes in at number 5. Cam Seldon at number 6. Jordan Matthews at number 7, Ethan Davis at number 8, Sham Umarov at number 9, and Rickey Gibson at number 10. You've got Tyree Weathersby at number 11, Larry Johnson, who's now at Colorado, number 12, Shandavion Bradley's at number 13, Jalen Smith is at number 14, Emmanuel Okoye is at number 15, Nathan Robinson at 16, Khalifa Keith at 17, John Slaughter at 18, Christian Conyer at 19, Jeremiah Thielander at number 20. The last 6 look like this. The last 5 look like this. Bison Lang at number 21. Trevor Duncan, last 6. Trevor Duncan is at number 22. Jack Luttrell is at number 23. Aiden Bustles at 24. Nate Spillman's at 25. And Desean Bishop is at number 26. This was a pretty big recruiting class for the University of Tennessee, and that is how they were ranked specifically in Tennessee's class. Now, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 3-stars. 14 3-stars. There were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 4-stars. And there was one On3 industry ranking 5-star, and that was Nico Iamaleava. So what did this class do at the time of its ranking? Well, it finished 12th nationally. It's a pretty big class, specifically at the time of signing. I know there's some busts in here, and there always will be. I know there's a lot of guys in here that transferred out, and that's just kind of the nature that we're in college athletics right now. But at the time of this class, the signing of this class, this was a pretty big deal, and it was still 12th in the country. It was 4th in the SEC. Reminder that Texas and Oklahoma were not in the conference at this point whenever these rankings were done. but 12th in the nation, 4th in the SEC. So it was a pretty daggone good class. A big class. Remember, 26 commits. Okay, 26 commits. Of these 26 commits so far in their collegiate careers, at least at Tennessee careers, 5 starters came from this group, 13 contributors. So half of the class has turned into contributors. And, that's obviously contributor in one way, shape, or another, starter, backup, special teams, whatever that is. And then you had 10 really good transfers, who I'll get into here in just a moment. Biggest winners of this group, we're going to get into it here in just a moment whenever I start actually re-ranking these. But the biggest winners of this group, Desean Bishop jumped up 20-plus spots from where he was ranked when he signed with Tennessee to where I'm re-ranking this class right now. Desean Bishop, the biggest winner easily in this class, going up 20-plus spots. Jeremiah Thielander jumped up 13 spots. Rickey Gibson jumped up 10 spots. Those are the biggest winners from this class when I go into the re-ranking here in a moment. The biggest losers on the other end of the category. Nathan Laycock, minus 18, so nearly 20 spots lower than where he signed with Tennessee is where I have him in these re-rankings. You have Emmanuel Okoye, that's never really got on the field whatsoever, never been a factor, minus 11, and Shadavion Bradley, who is no longer here. He was a highly rated edge prospect. That was a big recruiting win at the time. It never panned out here. Of course, he's not here any longer, and that's minus 10. And then Jordan Matthews as well is also minus 10. He transferred out after this past season and landed at Vanderbilt. 2 defensive linemen will be in the top 6, so some position trends here. 2 defensive linemen will be in the top 6. 2 linebackers will be in the top 8. 2 offensive linemen, in the top 12. That's welcoming, considering when you look back at the class of 2023 re-rankings. I encourage you to go back and check that out from last week. You had 5 of the last 6 in that class in my re-rankings were offensive linemen. So 2 of the top 12 are offensive linemen. Also, 2 offensive linemen in the bottom 5. And then you have 2 wide receivers in the bottom 6. So a little bit on both ends of the conversation here is the offensive line. Defensive line continues to be up there. I think, 4 of the top 5 in the re-rankings of the class of 2022 were all defensive linemen. So that's obviously a theme here. Tennessee's recruited defensive linemen very, very well. But before I get into the actual re-ranking, I do want to go check out the transfer portal class from this cycle as well. These transfers don't weigh into any of the recruiting rankings or anything. It's just something else to add to this conversation. This was a very good recruiting class, transfer portal recruiting class during this cycle. It brought Dante Thornton to Tennessee. It brought Andre Keurig to Tennessee. It brought Omar Norman Lott to Tennessee. It brought McCallan Castles to Tennessee. It brought John Campbell to Tennessee. It brought Keenan Peely, Gabe Judy Lally, Charles Campbell, all to Tennessee. I mean, you look at these 10 transfers, Dante Thornton was a starter. Andre Keurig was a starter. Omar Norman Lott, wasn't a starter, but he was a second-round draft pick. He was a contributor. I'm going to count him as there. He was a starter. McCallan Castles was a starter. John Campbell was a starter. Keenan Peely was a starter. Gabe Judy Lally was a starter. Christian Charles was a starter. 8 of the 10 transfers in this cycle went on to start and play meaningful snaps for the University of Tennessee. So not only was this a pretty good recruiting class overall, it was a really good transfer portal class. So let's get into the re-rankings. Again, Nico Iamaleava, he led things off. On3 Adam is the number 1 overall recruit in this cycle. How far did he fall? Probably not as much as you want, but he does fall. We're going to discuss that when we come back right here on your Thursday Locked On Vols as we are re-ranking the Tennessee football signing class of 2023. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. I watch Major League Baseball every night. I watch the Atlanta Braves every night. I know that lineup pretty well. I know who's hot. I know who's not. So when I know who's hot, I can also throw those in there with the same game parlay and get some more bang for my buck. It's so much fun. You can check it all out. NBA playoffs, Major League Baseball, college football, futures are out there. Win totals, we talked a lot about that as well. Heisman odds, and so much more. If you're new to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head on over to FanDuel.com, place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets. Make every single moment more with FanDuel. It's official sports betting partner of the NBA, and it's where you can make every moment more. All right, so 26 commits for the class of 2023. We're going to re-rank the top 13 here in segment number 2. We're leading off my re-ranking of the class of 2023. Number 1 is going to be one of those biggest winners I was talking about, Rickey Gibson. I remember I covered this recruitment, and all the talk was Jordan Matthews, and he was trying to keep him away from LSU. LSU came calling late. Calling Baton Rouge, right? They came calling late. He was an LSU. He was a Baton Rouge kid. Highly rated 4-star. He was kind of the crown jewel of the defensive backfield in the signing class. And, all the attention was on Jordan Matthews. But Tennessee really liked Rickey Gibson. And Arkansas was pushing hard there. Georgia was pushing hard there. And Tennessee was able to get Rickey Gibson. And lo and behold, he's turned into a really, really good player. He's turned into a starter, a main contributor, and a guy that's going to help Tennessee out in a big way. So he was number 10 overall, or number 11 overall in this class. Number 10, sorry. So he goes up +9 to number 1. Rickey Gibson is at number 1. Number 2 on my re-rankings is going to be Arian Carter, and I believe there's another level there to reach with Arian Carter. I do. Somebody asked in the Monday Night Chat earlier this week, who's got more to prove, Jeremiah Thielander or Arian Carter? Arian Carter, because there's more there, or Jeremiah Thielander to prove that he can play at this level consistently? And I said Arian Carter because I think easily there's another level to be reached. Jeremiah Thielander, I think, is a fine player, but I do think that there's limitations there. Arian Carter has been a fine player for Tennessee, but I do think that there's another level for him to reach there. But still, pretty good player. He's a key contributor, and he jumps up to number 2. I think On 3 actually had him as a 5-star as well. This is where Nico Iamaleava falls to number 3. And some of you guys might be saying, well, whoa, what in the world? Why? I mean, he wasn't anything. He was a huge bust. He was this. He was that. Like we said from day one, like we've said repeatedly on this show, he was set up for failure in a lot of respects. Because of the hype, because of the prowess, because of the name, image, and likeness deal, reported deal from the get-go, because of all those things, unless he won the Heisman year 1 of a national championship Tennessee Volunteers quarterback team, he was going to, quote-unquote, be a bust. But end of the day, did he live up to the billing? No, not in his first year as a starting quarterback. But was he the starting quarterback for a college football playoff team? Yes. Did he make some big-time plays to beat some of your rivals in Alabama and Florida? Yes. Again, I'm not trying to say that he was everything, but he was certainly far from a bust. And that's why I'm going to slide Nico down 2 spots from number 1 to number 3. So Nico Iamaleava comes in at number 3 in my re-rankings. Number 4 is going to be Desean Bishop, and this is the biggest winner of the entire class because Desean Bishop, a former walk-on, he was the number 26 rated prospect in the class. We know Desean Bishop's stories. Carnes High School, one of the best running backs the state of Tennessee has ever produced. Just goes to work. Just plug and play, plug and play, plug and play. Can he stay healthy? That's a thing for him. But he puts in the work, and he just continues to show up every single day, and he's turned into a pretty good player for the University of Tennessee. Ranked number 26 in the class at the time of his signing. He jumps up to number 4, plus 22. The biggest winner is Desean Bishop. Number 5 is going to be David Hobbs. He slides down 3 spots. Good player. Going to be a big-time contributor for Tennessee this year. I think health and durability has been an issue at times for sure. But overall, unless you get a bunch of sacks, like playing defensive line, you got a lot of good players, but it's such a rotational position where your stats aren't going to pop, like unless it's a James Pierce stats or Joshua Joseph's TFLs or something like that. But David Hobbs, a good player, slides down 3 spots, but he still ranks inside the top 5. Number 6 is Caleb Herring. Hasn't truly broken out yet, but pretty good player. Is going to be the number 2 to Joshua Joseph this year. He's grown. He's put on a lot of weight, turned into a pretty good edge player. Tennessee's going to need him in a big way. He comes in there at number 6. Ethan Davis is the number 7. Talk about guys that Tennessee needs in a massive way. He has got to step up huge this season. So much talent. It's always been there. Been overshadowed by, of course, Jacob Warren, McCowan Castles, Miles Kitzelman, Holden Stays. Now it's his time, along with Miles Kitselman. Tennessee's going to need Ethan Davis in a big way. He comes in at number 7. Number 8 is going to be Jeremiah Thielander, plus 12 in the recruiting rankings. Yes, Jeremiah Thielander has some limitations, okay? I'm not shying away from that. But he is a proven contributor / starter at the linebacker position in the Southeastern Conference. Is he good enough to play? Absolutely. Is he good enough to start? Absolutely, in my opinion. Is he good enough to play 50 to 60 snaps on defense a game? That's where you want more of a rotation for sure. But Jeremiah Thielander is a guy that has turned out to be, had a pretty decent career. And he's up 12 spots from his initial rankings in the class up to number 8 in my re-rankings. Number 9 is going to be Sham Umarov, and I'm really intrigued to see what Sham's path is here at Tennessee. A lot of questions about the offensive line entering the season. Will William Satterwhite lock down the center position? If so, Sam Pendleton is probably going to be a guard. We know Wendell Moyd's going to be a guard on the other side. If Sam Pendleton bumps down to play center, then that opens up a spot for a Jesse Perry or a Sham Umarov. Sham had a really good back half of the spring. He's been overshadowed by a lot of veterans, obviously a lot of returners, but Sham, I think, is going to carve out a nice little role for Tennessee, albeit we'll see if it's a starting role this year. But Sham was kind of that crown jewel offensive lineman of the class. He was rated 9th in the class. He stays put here in my re-rankings. Number 10 is going to be Jalen Smith. He's up 4 spots from 14 to number 10. Limitations, rotational player, but a contributor that's contributed. Yeah, contributor that contributed. Who would have thought? A guy that played for Tennessee, a significant role, and of course he transferred out, and I think he's at Mississippi State now, but Jalen Smith proved that he can at least play in this league, albeit there are some limitations. Tyree Weathersby comes in at number 11. He stays put. He was ranked number 11 when he signed with Tennessee in this class. He was my pick to be the crown jewel of this class in terms of maybe underrated, kind of waiting in the weeds for his moments. I still think that he can be a stud. He's just durability's been an issue. Lack of consistency has been an issue, and he's been overshadowed by a lot of players. He was going to be in the rotation as a true freshman coming in here in June ahead of his true freshman season. He balled out in fall camp, was going to be in the rotation, but suffered a season-ending injury, and that's all she wrote for that year. And he's seen some action. He's been in the rotation a little bit, but he's been overshadowed. Here's the Tyree Weathersby stepping up and giving something big for Tennessee this year. At number 12, it's going to be Larry Johnson, another guy that stays pat. He was number 12 when he signed with the Volunteers in this class. He's number 12 in my re-rankings. Solid backup option, a guy that you felt confident in to go in there and spell a tackle when need be. Oklahoma game was huge. He was going to be rotating with David Sanders to begin this year, but transfers to Colorado. Larry Johnson III, another good story, came in here, worked on his body, completely transformed his body, and gave himself a chance. And he's going to now have that chance at Colorado. Larry Johnson III coming in there at number 12. The final one in the top 13, before we hit on the bottom 13 of this class in my re-rankings, is going to be Nathan Robinson. Again, durability. That's been an issue. Nathan Robinson is absolutely going to play and help Tennessee out tremendously this year in the interior defensive tackle if he can stay healthy. The issue with him is he's never been able to stay healthy, and that's not his fault. It's just unfortunate. Nathan Robinson needs to be healthy for Tennessee to help them. From the state of Tennessee, was a linebacker. Tennessee saw the raw makings of what he could grow into be, and that being a defensive tackle. Rodney Gardner loved him, and of course he signed, and now he's been here at Tennessee developing, and we'll see if he can be a key contributor for the Volunteers on the interior of the defensive line this year. So, my top 13 in my re-ranking of the class of 2023. Number 1, Rickey Gibson. Number 2, Arian Carter. Number 3, Nico Iamaleava. Number 4, Desean Bishop. Number 5, David Hobbs. Number 6, Caleb Herring. Number 7, Ethan Davis. Number 8, Jeremiah Thielander. Number 9, Sham Umarov. Number 10, Jalen Smith. Number 11, Tyree Weathersby. Number 12, Larry Johnson III. And number 13, Nathan Robinson. The bottom 13, there's some guys in there you probably forgot about, as is the case in all these conversations. That is coming up next right here on your Thursday Locked On Vols. So we did the top 13 of my re-rankings for the class of 2023 Tennessee Volunteers. Now it's time for the bottom 13. Kicking things off at number 14 is going to be Cam Seldon. Cam Seldon had all the hype, had all the fanfare. Everybody thought he was Deebo Samuel, a wide receiver, running back, kick returner, all that and more. Athlete, right? Raw from the state of Virginia, played like 1A football, very raw, but had the physical traits that you wanted to take a chance on. And Tennessee took a chance on him. It didn't pan out, and he's transferred, I think, to Virginia back home. It never panned out. Desean Bishop just kind of overtook him. Peyton Lewis just kind of overtook him there at running back. Cam Seldon returned some kicks, but that's pretty much all she wrote. It's unfortunate, but you always want to take a chance on one of those guys for sure because you never know what they can turn into. But Cam Seldon comes in there at number 14. He contributed some. Number 15 is going to be Jack Luttrell. Never did anything here. Was here for his true freshman season, redshirted, transferred out, went to Arizona, and was one of their key contributors in the secondary this past year. So congrats to him. Brother plays football or played football. Carson Newman is I think his mom and dad or one of the two went to Carson Newman. So like Jack Luttrell, like that family, he comes in there at number 15. Number 16 is Vyson Lang, offensive lineman. Had an opportunity to be the backup center this year to Cooper Mays. Had an opportunity to be kind of the head honcho at the position heading into spring ball. And he elects to leave because essentially William Satterwhite overtook him. Vyson Lang was a late recruiting commit in the fall prior to this signing class. Came in here, developed a little bit, was a depth piece, but pretty much nothing more. So Vyson Lang comes in there at number 16. Number 17 is Jordan Matthews. Jordan Matthews falls down 10 spots, minus 10 from his original recruiting ranking. And again, a lot of ability there. He was just overshadowed. Rickey Gibson came to work and was better than him. Some of these other veterans were clearly better than Jordan Matthews, and Jordan Matthews really never set foot on the field in a meaningful situation at Tennessee. Maybe a couple snaps here and there, but that's pretty much it. Best of luck to him. He was a big recruiting win for Tennessee at the time, huge recruiting win, but he comes in at number 17, minus 10 spots from where he was originally ranked. Number 18 is no longer here as well. That's John Slaughter. He was actually even put. He was the 18th ranked commit for Tennessee. He comes in here at 18 in my re-rankings. John Slaughter off to Colorado. Special teams guy, depth piece in the secondary, but was never in the rotation. Here's to hoping there's better football ahead of him in Colorado. I know Tennessee really liked him in the recruiting cycle for sure. They really, really liked him. He committed to Tennessee silently at the 865 Live event a couple years ago, which 865 Live coming up this weekend, and so on and so forth. Another one that's not here. Actually, a couple, let's see here. We got this. This goes to show you football in 2025. From my re-ranking of number 15 of Jack Luttrell all the way down to, wow. No, 14 of Jack Luttrell. So this entire bottom half, think about this. This entire bottom half from number 14, Cam Seldon, all the way down to number 25, with the exception of the final player I'll get to here in a moment. He's the outlier. From 14 to 25, all those guys have transferred out. I just now realized that. It's not shocking, shouldn't be shocking, but that's pretty remarkable. So John Slaughter's at 18. Christian Conyer coming in here at 19. He was 19th ranked commit for Tennessee. He comes in at number 19 in my re-rankings. Tennessee found him early. Bowling Green, really, really liked his makeup. He was an athlete, wide receiver, running back, played a little quarterback, defensive back. They put him at corner here at Tennessee. Special teams player. That was about it. He transferred out. I believe he's at Coastal Carolina. Don't quote me on that. Number 20 is Khalifa Keith. Tennessee needed a running back late in that cycle. They found Khalifa Keith, a really, really good program in the state of Alabama. And he was a guy that was bigger, obviously. Ran really, really hard. Won a state championship, I think, with his high school in Alabama. Pretty much a depth piece always for Tennessee. Never really broke through for playing time. And he's transferred out to Appalachian State, if I'm not mistaken. 21 is Nathan Laycock. I'm not sure where he is right now. He transferred out to Pitt and then entered the transfer portal in the spring window, and I'm not sure where he landed. Nathan Laycock, minus 18, the biggest loser of this group in terms of rankings. Okay, I'm not calling anybody a loser, but the biggest bust, I guess, is a better way to phrase it. Still not very nice, but it is what it is. Nathan Laycock, Texas was interested in him for sure. Tennessee, I want to say North Carolina. A couple other SEC schools as well. I covered that recruitment. A missed evaluation. And a couple different of the sites had a missed evaluation there. On3 had a missed evaluation. I mean, that happens, right? But never really got onto the playing field here at Tennessee. It's unfortunate because Tennessee needs wide receivers, but I wonder where he would be in the pecking order if he would have stayed. Number 22 is Aiden Bussell, a guy that grew up in the state of Tennessee, Mount Juliet, loves Tennessee, wants to play, so he's transferred out. and he's going to go find, I forgot where he transferred. I know he's landed somewhere. Really, really like Aiden Bustle. I wish him well for sure. Number 23 is Shadavion Bradley. Huge recruiting win for Tennessee, edge player. Never materialized. He was a top 200 player. Top 200 player, minus 10 spots in the re-rankings, down to number 21. He left and went to junior college, and I'm not sure where he is right now. He didn't come in for spring practice. When he did show up, he was really, really small. He had not put on the weight necessary and never really gave him a chance. Number 24 is a guy that is recently retired from the game of football, and that's Trevor Duncan. Local prospect, Knox Catholic. I remember covering his games at Knox Catholic, and he would play defensive end, and I'm just sitting here like, boy, that's an offensive tackle. Boy, that's an offensive tackle. I wish he would go and play offensive tackle from day one at Tennessee, so maybe he could have a chance. Was on the defensive line for a little bit. The transition this past year, offensive lineman, it takes a while. It does. Ultimately, he had to call it quits and retire due to some health issues, from stemming from football. But I always thought he could turn into a really good offensive tackle, and it's unfortunate that didn't happen for him. Number 25 is Nate Spillman, older brother for current linebacker, Edwin Spillman. Nate Spillman coming in here at number 25. He is transferred out, looking for an opportunity. He was the 25th ranked prospect for Tennessee at the time of his signing, so no movement there. And the final prospect in my re-rankings of the class of 2023 is a guy that dropped down 11 spots. He was a huge project from the NFL Academy in London. Has not materialized yet. That is Emmanuel Okoye. He was new to football. His last year at the NFL Academy abroad, he was playing football on a soccer field, so hash marks weren't right and all that and more. Yard markers, the hashes weren't there, I guess what I'm trying to say. It's been a big-time project. He has also dealt with some injuries. Came in here, tried to play tight end. That didn't work out. He's been on the defensive line right now. Would shock me if he's ever really in the rotation, if he's a key contributor this year. He's one that fans always ask about because, again, kind of an intriguing story. But so far, he's not really been a contributor for Tennessee. We'll see if that changes. But he comes in here at number 26 in my re-rankings. He is down 11 spots from when he signed with the University of Tennessee. So, you had the signing class rankings, and then my re-rankings, okay? In reverse order, last, Emmanuel Okoye, number 26, Nate Spillman, number 25, Trevor Duncan, number 24. These are my re-rankings. Shadavion Bradley, number 23, Aiden Bustle, number 22, Nathan Laycock, 21, Khalifa Keith, 20, Christian Conyer, 19, John Slaughter, 18, Jordan Matthews, 17, Bison Lang is 16, Jack Luttrell is 15, Cam Selden is 14, and again, of these bottom half guys, from 14 to 25 have all transferred out. Wow. Nathan Robinson, 13, Larry Johnson, 12, Tyree Weathersby, 11, Jalen Smith, 10, Shammy Morrow of 9, Jeremiah T-Lander is 8, Ethan Davis is 7, Caleb Herring is 6, David Hobbs is 5, Desean Bishop is 4, Nico Iamaleava is number 3, Arion Carter is 2, and number 1 is Rickey Gibson, and that is how I would re-rank the class of 2023. Pretty good one, all told, especially at the time. Now, of course, there's some guys in here that missed. That always happens, but the class of 2023 that produced so far 5 starters, 13 contributors, 26 commits that at the time ranked 12th in the SEC, 12th overall and 4th in the Southeastern Conference. Again, Desean Bishop, the biggest winner at plus 22, and Nathan Laycock, the biggest loser in terms of the rankings at minus 18. What say you? Who were some guys that were hidden gems in this class? Would you have anyone way higher on the rankings compared to where I had them? I would love to hear from you guys at _Cainer at Locked On Vols as we look back at the wins and the losses for Josh Heupel in the class of 2023 recruiting. You know what's next. At some point next week, we will do the class of 2024. Interesting class. Can't wait to dive into that one right here on Locked On Vols here in the month of May, as recruiting is obviously always at the forefront, specifically coming up this weekend with the 865 Live. Hopefully we'll be talking about a bunch of recruiting wins from this weekend in shows to come, and of course maybe in years to come when we do this exercise later on in the off seasons and years to come. Appreciate you guys as always. We'll be back for a Friday show to discuss everything going on, the latest in Tennessee football, baseball, all that and more. This is Locked On Vols.